Welcome back to Makita Designs. I'm James, and today we are going to be looking at the very new portable A4 size Makita cordless router table. Christ, I'm looking like a 1980s Bon Jovi chubby version tribute band. Let's get started. First things first, this is made out of 304 stainless steel material. It's 3mm thick, and this was programmed and cut out on a big laser machine which looks something like this. Secondly, very similar to the circle jig is that we took the measurements from the actual original base plate first, and this is going to bolt down from the original screws onto your mounting plate onto here. We've incorporated a few little things to go on it, one being these slides, so we can add an additional fence which is on its way, which is going to be made from some aluminium extrusions, and it's bolted together underneath. Secondly, the design of this plate on here, obviously this would be the underside, but if you need it you can just screw this down onto your workbench and you've got 4 mounting points here. Alternatively, this is already wide enough so you could build this up incorporating the Makita router itself, and you could have this raised or you could have this recessed into a standardized workbench or something in line with your compound saw, whatever. I wanted this to be as flexible as possible, so we need to do some countersinking on these 4 holes here to cater for the mounting screws for this. So we are going to do this right now, just like that. So now everything is going to line up there beautifully, and wow, that looks really good. I am super pleased with that. It is often, but not very often, that you kind of do a project and everything works out fine and it works good and everything lines up and it does what I want it to do. So I have been using another one. I had quite a few of these cut just to give to some friends and building trade mates, which I have done, and they're going to give me some feedback, some of which was already is to make, which I really like this idea actually, is to make inserts for this, just to make it a little bit smaller. The reason why I kept it this opening is I don't have one, but Makita have the vacuum attachment that kind of sticks onto here and works quite well. I haven't done that, but the beauty of the Makita ones is that they are very easy to change and adjust the height, which I really do like. And it's just like using a full-size router for me. And for what I want to do with it, it works fantastically. Okay, next thing. Okay, so there are 2 4mm slots going all the way back onto here. I mentioned it very briefly earlier on, and that is for I've got some aluminium extrusion coming, and this is going to make my fence kind of come up to here. This is typically a little bit overkill for what I think that you would really need it for. But the reason why I did this, in case you'd be wanting to make in like drawer bottoms and things like that, router tables typically don't have that much throat depth with the fence. But you can always modify this and change it. How this one is at the moment, with the fence, you've only got obviously 2 points of contact, which you could technically move around a little bit. I think in Mark II, I would have a 3rd slot to go in the middle just to keep that as square to the bed as possible. But I think for what I want to do, I can just put some 2 clamps on the back here, and this is going to work really nicely. I think it doesn't need to be stainless steel, but it is really nice. And eventually I might start selling these, so I think the stainless steel will be a big selling point for people. If you've ever looked in the back of a chippy's van, sorry, that's carpenter or woodworking person, if you're not in Great Britain, then yeah, these things need to be weatherproof. They're going to be left on site, they're going to be thrown at people, so they need to be pretty tough. But this was a really nice compliment, I feel, to the circle jig, and it's going to cater for what I need in my workshop really, really well, and it has done already so far. So I have made a few little bits, one of which is this. A very, very well over the top solid oak push stick for my upcoming bandsaw project. If you want to see that, hit subscribe, plug. And doing something like this that's quite thin and narrow is, I would call that pretty unsafe to do that in, say, like a vise, or to be glued down to the bench to then go around it. With this, with a radius in bit, what it allows you to do is just, you've got all this workspace, you can move it all around, you're safe, and you're not going to, cut off your pinkies. So that's kind of just a little quick project that I did to test it, and it worked out really, really nicely as well. This would have been super handy for the stool build. I'll show you the reason why it got a little bit ropey. So yeah, I was clamping the actual body of the router in my vise, and it works, don't get me wrong, and it does work, and life would go on without this, but life is a little bit better with it, so this is why we have it. 2 screws in the back. This is now nice and solid, and it is completely usable, nice and easy. Happy days. Everything is nice and flash. No mooring on here. And this is going to give you some little jobs. I never need a router table standalone. I've never needed one, and I don't really want the space, and I kind of don't want to sacrifice the space. Having something like this, it's going to give you the best of both worlds, and it's solid, it's quality, and it's the only one in the world. So what could be better? And that's going to be a wrap for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed working on this project, and thank you so much for all the fantastic support on Instagram. We are currently mid-coronavirus here in the UK, and I've had, so much support from, followers now at 2,000 plus on Instagram, and I've just hit my 200 mark. Thank you so much for your support and watching the channel. Feedback, whether it be negative or positive, is always appreciated, within reason. So thanks again, stay safe, stay making, and I will see you the next time for something else. So make sure you hit that subscribe, give me a like if you liked what you see, and we'll see you again.